Corey, you want to change that title so we can get some people in here? What do you think?
Hey, yeah, I think we got a couple that have just rolled in, and of course, we're recording, so we'll probably have a lot of people listening to this right after we finish. But let's get a new, let's update our title here. I don't know why it's still the generic one.
Well, it's always waiting for you to
That's
come up with
right.
something clever at the beginning of the space. That's all it is.
Where I put Mask doesn't care. I'll
Wait,
put
what?
Mask doesn't care.
Are we doing a badger show?
We'll talk about it. Mask doesn't care. Well, we actually don't care about a few things, right? We don't care about who you are. We don't care about where you live. We don't care in the future about what chain we might be able to service with our privacy tech. You see, there's a lot there, right? Does Mask care? We actually don't care about the important stuff of people, like in terms of their personal details. So, yeah. Clickbait.
That's very fair. I like the clickbait.
And maybe we won't care about this downtrend soon with some of these things we're going to release and announce in the ecosystem accelerator that I'll talk about a little bit today. We might buck the trend.
You're announcing things? There are things happening here? What's going on?
There's always things happening here. Actually, I think when was our last Spaces? Might have been 3-4 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, like 3-4 weeks, because I was in Dubai and I literally stayed up until about 10 minutes before the space was happening, and I fell asleep with my phone in my hand.
Nice.
I didn't make it. I was literally waiting for it. I'm like, I didn't make it.
We had an amazing space that night, but you weren't reachable. So, I just told people that you were making your own coin in Dubai, and then the floods, was a sign to stop the plans.
Man, yeah, it was something else. I got to say, it was definitely something else being out there with all that water. It was interesting, but I do have good news and feedback from that. Being in Dubai, Mask works really well over there.
Nice. That's awesome, man. I actually had a guy who's, I think he must run his own fund. He's pretty high up in terms of building himself up from a few 2-3 cycles and whatnot. I got him to try out Mask, but before he downloaded, he's like, "Hey, I've got 3 questions. Okay, number 1, can I use it in Dubai? Number 2 was, where can I get the token? And number 3 was, can I watch porn?" And I was like, well, I think if you can take the answer from number 1, which is, can you use it in Dubai, as yes, then maybe you can conclude for yourself. But the third question's answer is, because I'm not going to tell you. You have to download it and try it, okay? I'm not going to talk about all that stuff and adult things. You can do it.
There are some interesting laws out there in Dubai, I got to say. The pros and cons, man. I definitely got to say that's the thing. Like anywhere you go, there's definitely benefits to crazy, harsh penalties for doing certain things. Like if it's 20 grand. Yeah. If you steal somebody's phone and you don't return it or don't make an attempt to return it. So nobody loses their phone in Dubai.
Wow. That's their life. Yeah. They're like, we better secure these people's main business tool, which is so true now.
That's exactly it. So like if you leave anything inside of a taxi, you don't have to worry about it. There's cameras everywhere. They know which taxi you got on. They know exactly how to reach the company. So you don't have to worry about a thing when it comes to those types of things. I rarely saw any police out there, to be honest with you. And I think it was because there's a lot of craziness going on, but it's so safe. The only people that will give you trouble are tourists.
Yeah. Your own kind.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Amazing. Exactly. There are dark things over there. Not gonna lie. That I was like, man, like this is super sketch. But there, like I said, there's always pros and cons. But I would not trade any of that for my privacy. I just gotta say, love lots of the features that Dubai comes with, but my privacy and security when I'm doing whatever it is that I want to do. I'm not watching porn, but whatever else I'm doing, it's just I care more about that than, knowing that I can walk outside and, it doesn't matter the time of day. There's people awake 24 hours a day over there just because like crazy time zones and everybody's traveling. But yeah, it's one of those things, like pros and cons definitely exist, but I don't, I mean, there's things that I won't settle on,
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because we had a few teammates that did some working digital nomad phases, and they were working through different countries, and some of them worked in Dubai for a short time. And they were saying that literally you can't use voice over IP services, and you had to use a VPN for certain things. Like basically you're forced to use these tools to do stuff like a Discord call. Or it was so weird to hear. And I don't know if you experienced that there too. But
even WhatsApp, man, WhatsApp was awful. So like I had to get on WhatsApp, and I literally used Mass Browser to go on the browser version of WhatsApp. Like that's actually how I got through. Wow. Google is one of the few platforms that actually worked. And having like a Google Meet, which is like, oh, I wonder why Google Meets work and how much is actually being monitored over here, because they open up the access whenever people work with them. You know how that game works.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dubai's not going to ban everything and just let one player roam free, not have some kind of backdoor or some kind of catch, right? Let us pull anyone's records if we ask, but we'll let you have free reign here.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's all about the agreements. It's all about who ultimately, and like what kind of access you're granted depends on how much you're willing to cooperate with them.
Yeah. Wow, man. Well, I'm glad you didn't, float down the river and get stuck somewhere.
No, I had it easy. I had it real easy. I got there the day before. I got to see the rains coming in. It was weird. Like there were so many crypto people on my flight, from Wendy to the Altcoin Daily guys. I mean, Paisan. Like there's just so many people there. Like came in the same flight. It was super weird. Like we weren't expecting. All of a sudden, like I know you. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like the crypto community is way smaller than we sometimes think.
Oh yeah,
but it was nice. Like we're still at a point, as far as adoption goes, where it's kind of fun. Like, oh no, you're coming this way? You're traveling? Like getting to see faces that you recognize at the airport it's pretty fun.
Yeah, and I mean, we always get invited to these big events too, like by a lot of like people that you and I probably have mutual contacts with, or friends, or fellow like builders and stuff. And yeah, that like you say, that the groups are a little smaller than we realize, because most of them are attending these every year. They're like, oh, hey, you coming to 2049, or hey, you coming to East Denver, you coming to East Prague, like, and it's a lot of the OGs, constantly go. But again, that's like a good way to network too, because you'll see new faces come in, you'll get to catch up with people and what they're building. And yeah, so I'm sure you spread the good word of Mask there, even just saying, hey, oh, you having trouble calling back home through WhatsApp? Well, download this browser, give it a run.
I did. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. People are complaining about the connection. I'm like, dude, like, it's not just the connection; it's what you're allowed or not allowed to see. But I am a little disappointed in you, Corey. I'm not gonna let this one go. You should have been there. I would have gotten you in the pink limo. I would have made sure that you went to the right places, the right yachts, because there are two to three yachts going places every night. So
wow.
It was the party, then the after party. So the yachts would be like a sunset yacht. You get on at like 5, you get back by 11, and then there were more things happening for later on in the evening. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot, and it was just laid back, man. Like that was the coolest part of it all. It was just a lot of builders, a lot of people building stuff in a space, going, hey, what is it that you do and how can we work together? What is it that I can help you with? Like it was really a really good time, I gotta say. Like it was definitely my favorite outing I've been to in a long time.
No, that's cool. That's good to hear, because like I definitely want to plan a bit more, get the family to be able to do the trip as well, like if we can, or get the grandparents to take care of the kids, and then it's just me and the wife going. That would be awesome. And a bit of a holiday.
I'll get there one day. I'll get there one day. One day.
We got to do it, man, somehow. So yeah,
I got a long road ahead for me to be able to drop the kids off with the grandparents and go. I
Yeah.
got to,
Oh yeah, you just had the
my
little
little
one.
one just turned 6 months. So it's going to
Yeah.
take a bit.
Oh wow. The little one will be schooled up in all the newest stuff though. You'll have it all ready to go.
There's no question about that. Yeah, I mean it's wild. But like as far as education goes, like I hate blocking and limiting the things my kids have access to, but I have to,
Yeah.
right? Like it's my job as a parent. But it's like whenever I can push the limits, wherever I can know that they're safe and they can do whatever, and grow and experiment. Like I do that. Like my 5-year-old is reading chapter books, and he's so sneaky, man. Like at night, he stays up later and he pretends that he's going to go to bed. But then he has a
Yeah.
nightlight and he turns it on and reads to his 3-year-old brother. So they both stay up later because they want to read books together. It's, yeah. Now, the thing that he doesn't realize is, who do you think changes the batteries on that nightlight?
Yeah. You're like, I've got to charge this up, or I've got to. Yeah, man. You'll know. You'll know. Dads always know.
Oh man, yeah, it's just fun. It's a
Yeah.
really fun time.
Yeah,
But
that's
again,
good,
it's
man.
it's it's all about knowing where you can send people. And here's I'm going to link it back to Mask. It's all about knowing like where you can or can't go, or even setting it up to where you have your favorite DNS that blocks, prevents things, and you get to pick and choose like what's accessible and what's not. I mean, talk about sharing the right things. Um, Mass does that, man. Like, and it's really easy the way you set it up.
Yeah. No, we're doing it. We've been doing a lot of work. I mean, let's do a little roundup. We're going to get our newsletter out shortly for the month of April. But yeah, since it's been pretty much a month, I mean, quite a bit's happened. More sort of under the surface stuff. Like we've tried to engage a bit more, openly and say, hey, look, here's what's coming, as well as the stuff we're releasing now. Um, which is all important stuff leading us to mainnet, right? Like that's the big milestone. We're still really pushing, all efforts towards that and making the app so usable that when that mainnet version drops, every single user is going to jump in and be like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, because we're working out all those little, friction points or things that people are like, hey, I think you could do this better. And I'm, giving you some fresh eyes. And so we're fielding a lot of that. But in the last month, some big, sort of big changes that we had to make, as well as wanted to make. Well, one of them was we had to support a migration over to a new testnet. Now, people like might hear, okay, migration, okay, probably not a big deal. But actually, there's a lot of moving parts in that. And I got to say that our team was really well, really orchestrated that well and executed pretty well. Under 2 weeks, got it all prepared. And I've put out in a few of our updates and things that we were trying to engage to tell the community, hey, this is what's involved. This was a practice run for supporting other chains, right? And that's what I wanted everyone to understand. It was kind of like put on us through urgency because the old testnet Mumbai was being deprecated by the Polygon community, and that happens. Just like ETH has got all these testnets that have come and gone. If you're number one, if your project's not agile, those things can be really damaging for you, right? If you rely on a test net and now all of a sudden that stops, you got to make sure you're ready for your team to support the change. But also with someone with a project like Mask, we've got over 4,000 downloads, unique downloads. There's a lot of users out there. We also had to consider, well, if they open up that new version, we want it to be so simple they don't even realize there's a migration. Because if there's more steps involved and more things, like not only are people going to be annoyed, but also they're going to be like, oh man, well, what's going to happen in mainnet? Like, is this going to be hard for me to reset up and do all this stuff? So what was cool is the user downloaded the new version, installed it, and nothing had to be done. They had an airdrop of the new test token on Polygon Amoy straight into the wallet they loaded in. Got to just automatically connect, do all the cool stuff. And it was quick and easy. They wouldn't have known any difference. So what we're also doing is we're tracking some stats, because for us, at least for me and our user adoption inspections with the team we do for marketing and product development and stuff like that, this is almost like a clean slate as well. So it's another opportunity for us to say, cool, well, we're starting from a new test net. Number one, we're going to start tracking how many people have migrated from the wallet they used with the old test token. How many of the older users or testers are coming in, to this new version, which means, hey, we nailed that migration. We've got a whole bunch of users just migrating over and the stats look good. And then we're going to see new wallets on chain. Because remember, we don't track users. We're not tracking who downloads it besides just the accumulated amount of downloads. We don't know, like, if you install it, where you live. We don't collect any user information for an account. It's really just on chain. So that's what we're inspecting. We're leveraging that. So what's kind of cool, I'll throw a few stats out there, 30-day stats. We've had 22% increase in our unique page visitors to the updated new website we released a month or two ago. So that's really nice. We've grown the new tester count. So remember, we're tracking now new wallets we see on this new testnet. I think there's 170 on there. In the last week, 80 of those are new. So that's pretty good. And I think Amoy, the new Polygon Amoy, has only been out probably just about 3 weeks since we launched that update. And then we've got about 150 of existing users that migrated to this new testnet. Now, again, they didn't do anything. They just installed the new version, used the same testing wallet they had before, got the new token. They didn't need to do anything. So that's pretty cool. And so we're seeing, like, we're going to track closely what that looks like. But here's the coolest stat from the last week. We've seen now the new traffic activity on these peer-to-peer, transactions on chain. That's gone up 140%. So we've seen a lot of more use on the network, a lot more users jumping in and browsing. And that's super cool to see too. So hopefully that trend continues as we keep scaling and onboarding new users. So pretty good stats.
Is that like volume? Is that like volume through the network?
Volume. So 617 transactions when we took these stats on the new chain, because that'd be starting from zero. So 600 and something. There must have been like 10,000 or 20,000 on the old network, because that was probably a year in the making. So this one, very, very active. And there's probably some reasons for that too. Yeah, well, I think you might have been, we were talking about what people wanted to use Mask for, right? And people are in Dubai, kind of putting like one and one together maybe. People were away from their wives and husbands, like maybe there was a big spike in traffic.
That's hilarious. No, but like seriously, it was one of the only ways I was able to actually talk to some people that were stranded in Dubai, because I couldn't call them. I mean, I didn't have an international plan. So I was like, I'm just going to rely on my internet. I have unlimited internet internationally. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just use WhatsApp. That didn't work, Man. So like it was, I leaned heavy on Mask to get around. There was a lot of Mask usage by somebody, and maybe not me, because that's illegal. VPNs are illegal in Dubai, so I would never break the law.
Yeah, these were other people. I mean, we're just kind of saying, like, word on the street. Hey, word on the street. Mask works pretty good. Word on the street as well. I don't know if anyone picked up on some of my posts the last few days, but word on the street is, you can hustle through a few different attempts on Mask to actually claim your Eigen points as well, which they decided to bend a knee to Gary G and GeoBlock America and Canada, which very distasteful. It would have been nice if they like geo-blocked the deposits, right? Because then they're not now screwing over the people whose money they already deposited. Very interesting. I'm sure you probably heard a lot about that too, Action, with some of your network.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, it's getting crazy everywhere, man. Like, you got to register your Bitcoin wallet if you're in some place. It makes absolutely no sense. Like, they're fighting so hard to keep crypto out of like these different places around the world, and all they're doing is basically setting themselves backwards, right? I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I feel like that's why we need to keep standing up tall, like as a community of privacy caring individuals. This is obviously elements that are just foundational to crypto in the same essence, right? Like not to say that everything's so private that bad stuff is done and propagates easily, right? We don't want bad actors to do bad things with well-intended technology. But people say, okay, well then why is Bitcoin a public ledger if it's supposed to be, have that, that element of privacy? Well, it's because you don't necessarily know whose wallet is whose, right? It's just a ledger you can verify, and there's ways to obfuscate that without like also jeopardizing your privacy. So, I think we should stand alone in that too. Like with Mask, right? Mask, you can traverse the world, visit other websites from places where, you know, they're very far away from you and you might be not allowed to visit them in your country. Doesn't mean you're doing something bad, right? It's the whole like innocent until proven guilty. And like you said, all these governments trying to crack down, crack down, crack down. There's going to be a very pressurized state, I think, that it reaches where everyone's like, well, hey, hold on a second, assholes. Why are you acting like everyone's guilty? Like, what? How far is this going to go? Is it going to be that everyone needs to prove their innocence first? Because I can't name one court system in the entire world where you walk in. I mean, unless it's like a oppressive regime from the get-go.
I was about to say, yeah, there are some, but we don't want to replicate what they're doing over there, right?
And no one really wants to like really live there. Like you're kind of trapped there, born there, and you kind of try to get out. But yeah, you should be sitting there thinking, I'm guilty until I prove myself innocent. It's bizarre, man. So, you know, a lot of the tech we've built, it kind of sits in that camp where it's like we can minimize the stuff that is not desired, right? And you mentioned one of the things, choosing your exit node DNS. So if you want to serve the network, hey, I can choose Cloudflare Family as my DNS provider with one or two clicks of Mask. And now I have confidence that if someone who maybe is doing some stuff that's, you know, a little questionable or something that might be, you know, adult level that's not family friendly or malicious or whatever, it's going to block that from going through your node. And so you can kind of know, like, cool, no one's going to be using my bandwidth for nefarious reasons or things that should be banned, right? And we're letting the normal policemen around the world, who hopefully are good actors for the most part, police the traffic as they normally do, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it's a matter of choice, right? Like ultimately, I like to control what traffic goes through my network. And do I want to share bandwidth with Mask? Sure. But I still have the final say. Like it is my bandwidth. It's something I pay for. So I should have the say on how it's utilized, right? I mean, that's ultimately where I think some people kind of miss the mark. It's not like I don't want to police anybody else. I don't want to tell anybody else what to do. The same way that I don't want anybody else to tell me what to do. I just want to have freedom within whatever it is that I pay for, own, build, whatever it may be. Ultimately, I am looking for freedom across the board. I want people to be free to make their choices. I want people to be free to do with their lives whatever they want. Again, unless it impacts me, and that's where I would, you know, have issues. Like you can do what, like, dude, like there are some weird people out there, and they're into some weird things, and God bless them. You know what I mean? Like
it's true.
You do you. What is it? You do you, boo. Like that's my approach to it. Ultimately, like you gotta be able to look at people and say, I don't agree with you, but you live your own life. That's the best approach ultimately for me. And when it comes to my bandwidth, well, I'm going to choose what I do with it, or at least I should be able to choose what I do with it. So PSA for anybody else out there that is renting that modem from your ISP, I highly recommend against that because you have zero control.
Oh yeah. Try and save up a little bit or whatever, opt out with your own router, get your own router, and maybe it's a good learning experience to like install your own, and then you kind of can be a bit more flexible with what you do. But it's kind of why I put that funny little title, right? Mask doesn't care. And then I just added in quotes about your personal info. Like really the protocols that we fight for at the moment, that's kind of how they're designed, right? It's not a matter of the people designing the protocol caring about what the people on the protocol do. It's exactly what you said. I don't care what you do in the privacy of your own home. Obviously, unless it's like harming something else or someone else. But if you are doing something there, that's your business, right? And I'll do what I want in my house, you know, and everyone should have good morals and hopefully everyone lives a moralistic life. But on a protocol, when you start censoring things, you're then pressuring the protocol to bend a knee to things that someone else thinks is good or bad. So, I mean, I'll fight for your privacy to do what you want with your money. I might fight for your privacy to do what you want with your data, of course. But if it's nefarious stuff, well, hopefully there's designs in the protocol that can minimize that, but you can't exactly just censor it just because. There's got to be ways to do it. So we've got that with what we talked about. There's a way to, you know, allow a user to say, I'm happy for certain things to go through my exit node because I'm sharing my bandwidth. I'll control me. I'll control what I serve. And hopefully in the most organic way that the network and the protocol will basically operate in that sort of supply and demand equilibrium, right? Like what will happen in the future, because we already know with some of the design of the way that this works. In mainnet later on, when the fee model is dynamic, someone could set their fees on their exit node higher because they don't restrict the exit node traffic. They might use Quad 1 or whatever, Quad 9, something that doesn't filter traffic. And they could, rightfully so, charge a slightly higher rate for someone who is trying to get traffic that maybe others don't want to serve. It's not to promote bad things that are damaging to society, but saying that, hey, there's a way to filter it. And then people who want to run that risk, if they are doing something bad, well, hey, that's for them to live with. But it's not censored on the protocol or a widespread way where it's like someone like me or a core team member like deciding what happens. It's just like it's like the whole Bitcoin argument where the maxis are like ordinals and inscriptions and runes are spam on the blockchain, and we want to censor that. And they're trying to push people to censor nodes and miners and stuff. It's like you're going to break what's good. Like that's a very risky thing to try and do.
Yeah, and that spans across like everything in life, really, like from political parties to you name it. Like, and X has been pretty awesome with this sort of thing. And I gotta give it to Elon when it comes to him just standing up to people. I'm like, no, we're gonna be able to say whatever we want. We're not hiding the buck. We're not gonna cancel people just because you said so. Last one was Brazil. I mean, it's been crazy over there.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's been wild. And like I've had the opportunity to speak with a bunch of people. I mean, I speak Portuguese, fluently, so I got to translate. I do a lot of stuff live. But that's what it is, right? Like you just want freedom across the board. I think my account is like the epitome of wanting people to actually have a voice, regardless if they're saying, good things or idiotic things. Like I don't know if you know the two brothers, Brian and Ed Kresenstein. They're very, very liberal guys. And I follow both of them and they follow me back. And I've talked to both of them multiple times and I get along with them just fine. And on the same token, Laura Loomer, who is like the star favorite troller when it comes to Trump, also have talked to her multiple times, also follows me. So it's like I got both sides of the equation and I'm good with it because I really don't care if what you're saying, as long as you're allowed to say it, right? Like that's the at the core for me what's important. I love when people are able to have a voice, even if they don't have anything good to say, because ultimately that's kind of how the world works. If you are, whatever it is that you're communicating is viable, well, it's going to go forward. And if it's not, people will, essentially fade you. At the end of the day. And I mean, Mask is a perfect example of that. I mean, we're over here having a piece of software that allows people to bridge the gap to browse the web without censorship, which is so needed. And like I said, whenever you travel around the globe, you realize how desperately people need this type of solution and they don't have access to it.
I feel like that's a big reason why we have such passionate contributors and even full-time, volunteers and, paid members of our team. There are quite a few of them living in places where this is a daily challenge, right? Their government or whatever severely restricts crypto, severely restricts the use of VPNs. We got people in the EU who are like saying exactly what you just said before. Now they're making people self-register your addresses and, trying to capture you back into the fiat system and stuff like that. And like, it's just getting crazy, and people are like, people have had enough. They're saying, well, look, we want sovereignty in our own decisions, financial, personal, having privacy and the ability to speak to who you want, right? There's very few examples of censorship out there, which I think have done a greater good for society. And so that was really why we founded it was purely anti-censorship, digital freedom. and making it peer-to-peer decentralization. And as long as we always stick close to that as our core, which we have, we know that there's a need for what we're building, right? And it's evolved over time. Like, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have said, hey, we're partnering with Handshake and we're building file-based integration and this, and now we've got all these layers of decentralization just to a huge degree that makes it so resilient to all the things that we're seeing now. Well, pre-COVID, would anyone here listening have said, oh, you know what, one day soon, I'm not going to be able to leave my country or go to another country unless I have a stamp on my passport that says I've had a vaccine? People would have laughed in your face and said you are a tinfoil hat wearer, and said like, nah, man, they're never going to do that. They're never going to like put your ID on that level of scrutiny and this and that. Well, look at what's happening now. Look at what's happening with blockchain analysis, like making people register stuff that, hey, we don't register cash, do we? But they're trying to phase that out too. So we got to like push back on this stuff. And part of that is not censoring things, as much as you can, just avoid that as any tool to build anything. It just doesn't seem good in any society now.
I mean, people would have said, isn't that like the plot to Deus Ex, the video game that came out in 2000? It's like, yeah, that's man. Exactly the plot. And then we lived it.
Man, and you think of movies like The Matrix and all these crazy things, and you're like, bro, are we in a simulation? Like, I got to tip my hat to CZ though. He predicted 4 is like everything. That's just, I'm blown away seeing what's going on with this. Someone make a coin called 4 and just have that hand signal. Like it's just unreal.
I'll check, but I'm pretty sure it's already out there.
I was gonna say there's got to be like at least 4 of those projects making the 4 token, no doubt.
Oh no, there's more. There's more than 4. There's way more than 4.
Maybe there's 40 or 400.
It's there's quite a few out there.
He will be the sung hero for some time, I think, with everything going on. People don't like some of the methods that they had at Binance, but like, you got to say, like, what were we, the children of Binance in some way? Like, I think one of my very first centralized exchange accounts was Binance back when you didn't have to KYC. And it was awesome. Those are the good old days.
Yeah, man. Talk about the good old days. Yeah, the last one I didn't have KYC for was Mt. Gox. That was like the first one for me.
The first of
we
last.
We all know how
probably.
That ended.
Yeah, wait, aren't they selling all that Bitcoin? Isn't that the conspiracy now too? Oh, there's
no conspiracy. It's just how it works. Like I was like in Dubai, I met some incredible people that used to be like special ops, and they were like, yeah, we used to like deliver these crazy little USB drives, and we didn't know what was on it, and we're giving it to like really bad people, and it was like this huge operation, and we were just like securing this little flash drive and handing it over. Now it makes sense. It was crypto. It was definitely Bitcoin in those drives. Like there's a lot of those crazy things going on and have been going on for a long time. So whenever people try to say, fiat's, the way Bitcoin is just used for illicit activities. Well, that same person was like, yeah, but I also dropped bags and bags of cash to other people as well. So like it happened every which way.
Of course it did, man. It's just crazy. It's just, it's always a way to game the system or, elicit bad stuff. But yeah, I mean, look, we've got a lot in motion too, I know we talked like sort of more like why we exist, and like Mask doesn't care about your privacy, your private information. We don't care about your identifiers, right? So what are we doing from here? What are we building from here? We're very close to another release. This will be just a standard update over the air for all current users, and new users will just get the newest version when they install it. But we're almost done. Yeah, this one will have most of the cleanup we wanted in terms of the UX, the user experience, and the panels all being in one place. Because as we said before, part of our plan now, which we started well into design now, is making this panel the same type of panel you'd use if this is just a thin client. We haven't come up with the real name, like the final name yet, but what we're thinking is it might be something called like Mask Lite. And essentially this is a small app you install on your computer. and it runs on the computer like in your tray, in your like your dock or your system tray. And then you could just change a setting on your browser or install an extension on your browser, and Mask will run through your browser. Or you'll do a setting change on your Telegram app or your Discord app or whatever apps you want, and that traffic will go through Mask. So you don't have to install the whole browser to use Mask. It'll be like a thin version, just the core software. I'll let you have the options, and then all the stuff in the panel that you see in this version and our next couple versions, that'll essentially be what you interact with. So the work's done there. It's going to let you on board, set things up with what you need, your wallet, your chain, whatever choices for content filtering, if you're serving, all that good stuff. Super quick, under a minute, boom. And then you can use it. Now, we're still going to be building the browser. There's still a lot of cool stuff in the pipeline for the browser. And that stuff I mentioned with the extension, Mask Lite, like that's months in the making still. But that's where we're going. And we know that that's going to give us a much, much broader audience to use the tech, to onboard, to build the network, to serve the network, to use the network, all the good stuff, increasing our holder count. There'll be premium features that are probably in that app as well, that are like special things for people who hold Mask. So all that stuff's super important. Some of the features that are coming out soon as well, we're getting finished with the node hop selector. That's very soon as well, where you can change how many hops you want. So you might want a little bit extra speed for some stuff you're browsing. You're not super worried if you go down from 3 hops to 2. So it's not like something you might not want super privatized where it's like untraceable. It might just be like, hey, I just want to hide my IP, or watch a video and pay a little bit less, get better speed. You can change your hops. And then some of the double ups that you see now in the current version where there's like a couple buttons and same buttons in different places, we're in this little sort of transitional period, a little funky period. We're finally finishing that, polishing those, getting those out, putting them all in one place. So yeah, it's sort of like, I guess the 0.9 versions are sort of that progressional transition, but it's giving us the time to build this stuff ahead of the game that we need for the next flagship set of flagship softwares, which is going to be like a thin version. Also, shout out to Handshake. We are shipping the first phase finally. It's been a little extra time because we had to work on some other stuff, as well as this migration with Polygon 2, where you can natively navigate to Handshake domains. Most of them will load. We've done a lot of testing right in the URL bar. And you just got to add / on the end, which some browsers do. So if you want to try that out, in the next version, you can just type in mask / and then it's going to query our Handshake domain, which we own. And it actually, our one's set up to redirect you. It'll redirect you to the Mask browser site. But loads of awesome people out there in the Handshake community, they're hosting their site directly on their Handshake domain, and it'll load right into the browser. Currently, we haven't got it working over the privacy network of Mask, so you won't be able to do it while you've got Mask turned on for consuming. But that said, that's going to be coming in our next few phases of integration.
That was a lot.
There's a lot coming, man. That
was a lot. All right.
That's a lot.
I got like one question at least for each one of these things. So Handshake, we own the Mask, essentially not domain, but like the Handshake address. So we can, moving forward, we could download that Mask and send it to wherever people download, or light.mask and send people to the light version of Mask, right?
100%. Yeah, man. I think I even tested out the subdomain part of it, because you can tailor all that stuff. And yeah, if you I think it's still live, Ross. I turned it off because now we've got one website, but when we had the mask.ai still, yeah, you could go to browser.mask./ and it would take you to our browser site. And if you just did mask./ it would take you to the old site. But yeah, you could do all sorts of hosting with subdomains. You could direct people to where you want to go. And again, it's censorship resistant. Like what recently in the privacy space, people would have seen that Samurai Wallet got seized. They seized the domain. They seized the servers. They seized the data. They seized everything. They seized the founders. They extradited one guy from Spain and shut it all down. And that happened, obviously, coordinated effort across international police and all that crap. Do I think that's good? No. But I think what it showcases is that if you're hosting a lot of your stuff still in Web 2, you have a big vulnerability to your resilience. And if you're a decentralized project, you should be looking at ways to get around that, or rise above, we should say, rise above that. And for us, it's a no-brainer. We own the mass domain. If that happened to us, there are plenty of people in our team and our community, and we could easily put our website natively on the Mask Handshake domain, and it can't be censored. Anyone with Mask browser or these other browsers that support Handshake essentially could help you route around that and get to it. So that's pretty important, you know?
Yeah, and as far as the Samurai wallet is concerned, it's really good that Mask doesn't encourage people to do anything illegal.
That's right.
That was a big
Oh man, I know. Basically saying, yeah, they're saying, hey, you know, one of our use cases is backwater, like black market, this and that, and it's illicit stuff. And I'm like, bro, why would you ever say that in the public forum? Like, that's just.
I mean, not even the public forum. Like, why would you even say it? Period. Like you're setting yourself up for failure at that point, you know?
Yeah, but I think that also some interesting stats will come out of that, because preliminarily I looked at some people analyzing all the court documents and stuff so far, and they were saying, okay, $2 billion of Bitcoin have gone through Samurai Wallet, and only 100 million is actually linked to the what they would call illicit money laundering and all this tough stuff that they do chain analysis to trace it back to whoever it is, the bad people. That's only 5%, man. How much percent of the cash around the world is used for bad stuff? I don't know. Probably more than 5%.
I mean, what is it like? Every dollar that you ever touch, if it tests positive for drugs?
Yeah. Certainly every $100 US bill would be testing positive for something. Yeah, it's just nuts,
the $1 notes. They test positive for other things.
Yeah, like pop rocks and all the other little the lower end.
Oh man!
But man, Handshake is the way. Like, just a good example of us looking at resiliency, right? And maximizing your decentralization, and minimizing how much you can be disrupted by the powers that be for the wrong reasons, right? Like, if you do something that isn't good, sure, you're going to garner scrutiny. But if it's designed to be good, the greater good, public good, you don't want that attacked. Like, it's just, yeah. I had an interesting conversation with some mentors that I talk to often. I really love their input and stuff. And I mentioned this. I said, it does make you a bit nervous when you're leading a privacy project. You're sort of in the public forum like these. I'm talking openly to people, and I chat with lots of people. And then, you see something like the Samurai Wallet thing happen. You're like, man, like, I've got a family. Like, it makes you think, am I at risk? Are they going to come after me one day? And then you got to remind yourself, like, no, I'm not facilitating money laundering. I'm not making people have an easier way to do bad stuff.
Right.
But then my mentor was like, one of the coaches and stuff. He's like, yeah, but think about it this way too. Like, if they're coming after someone like Mask, a privacy project like Mask, they're probably going to have to try to come after all the stuff like Tor, like all the VPNs out there, every DVPN project, every privacy-based project, privacy mixers that are, relatively auditable, like Railway, which I use. It's amazing. Vitalik uses it. Like, they're going to have to really go after all of them, And like, it's kind of like, is that going to happen? That's the power, is hiding in. Not hiding for the wrong reasons, but like operating in the masses, right? And that's where Bitcoin is king. If you always have people
100%.
running miners, you always have people holding wallets, self-custodying, the powers that are against us can't win. It's the same goes with Mask. If we have 20,000 or 100,000 nodes, there's no way you can shut down the network. It's just like torrenting. You can't shut it down,
I know nothing about torrenting. I've never done that in my life.
Oh, I haven't either, but I've just heard about it. Wait, doesn't Mr. Honorable Justin Sun have, didn't he make BitTorrent? I think that's one of the hot ones now, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. He's open for interviews, by the way, if you ever want to get him on a stage and see what he's thinking.
Oh my God. How much does that cost?
It depends. It's free if you know people. I've gotten into those emails back and forth, made some introductions. It gets interesting in there.
Oh my gosh. How do we know it's him though? What if it's like an AI version of him that sounds like him? And he's busy gallivanting around the world with his private jets.
Yeah, he's stuck in one place right now. He's not going anywhere.
No, that's true.
Put that out there.
Yeah, I think Jack Ma can't protect him anymore.
Nope. Cannot. Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. So something else you said. Let me just clarify here. You said that the switch to a different network, going from one test net to another, on the Polygon ecosystem, seems simple. Like that would have freaked me out if I was in the dev team going, by the way, we need to switch this over because it's getting deprecated. I would just lose it because it's a lot of work changing basically everything that you've worked on, setting up new faucets and everything else. It's awesome that the team was so good and was able to get through it without having any issues. But does that mean that the future is not single chained for Mask?
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly right. I mean, we're flexing that because we've said it before, and it's in a lot of our documentation, right? We're relatively chain agnostic, right? So if there's a way to support blockchain services to and from a blockchain, which almost every blockchain has to have anyway, you can communicate with the blockchain. There'll be a way to make Mask, in theory, able to operate on those chains. Now, EVM's easy because we've already built a lot around that. So something like ETH, which are already on, Polygon, we're already on. All those are easy. EVMs like Rollups, Optimism, Base, Arbitrum. I mean, we've been looking a lot at Base because, let's be honest, the narrative's strong with Base. This is a well-established, they've fought through the ups and downs as a company to have their spot here. They're onboarding a lot of users. And I mean, if you want a lot of users using some legitimate technology, you're kind of not, you're being a bit, I mean, at least for me, I think it'd be narrow-minded to not look at Base and say, is that a possible option for us? We've got to align a lot of things and consider quite a few dynamics about it. But as an example, like that could be done. So this test for us, testing the testnet migration, was like a good exercise because now we're really confident we could say, hey, our feature is multi-chain, which it will be. Everything you talk about with even ETH maxis, they're saying ETH doesn't matter if ETH is still expensive. Like that's a consensus layer. You're going to have a multi-chain future. We're going to have BlackRock chain. We're going to have Amazon chain. They're already making that shit. Like it's not silly. It's happening. So why not build bridges, right? Instead of moats, or be agile. And so, yeah, we're looking at that like really, really deeply now because there's a lot of opportunities too.
It sounds like a great Twitter poll for us to put out and kind of get a feeler out there in regards to what chain people would like to see Mask be on.
Yeah, 100%.
That might work out pretty well. Just to, literally hear from the community, hear from people out there saying, "Hey, where do you want Mask to reside? Like, where do we need privacy adoption, or what's a platform that already has a lot of privacy built in that we should support?" So it can go both ways here, and it's just exciting to know that people actually care about it and that they engage with it. So yeah, I mean, I think a poll would go a long way.
Yeah, and we've also looked at it from the user point of view, right? Like we got to also think like we do want a mix of users. We have a very strong niche where we have very privacy centric people, very privacy conscious people who want to use Mask for all the right reasons and take advantage of all the aspects that we built, the features, everything, like the whole span of stuff that we've got. But then you've got the new type of users who are brand new to crypto. Maybe their very first purchase, which, let's be honest, one of the easiest ways would be to make a Coinbase account or Binance account or whatever and use the fiat on-ramps, a card, a bank account, whatever. They are not maybe good or bad. Probably we wish it wasn't this easy to overlook KYC, but they're not thinking of KYC. They go ahead and do it, and they make their first purchase through a KYC custodian, and that's how they first get crypto. And you kind of want to put your brand there to say, well, look, now that you've gone through the process, you might have given away your KYC. Okay, you can't take it back or whatever. You're in that area. But here's a way you can now experience the rest of crypto with a privacy-centric portal, a gateway, Mask, Web3. Like, come in. It's easy to use. You've already got your crypto. Cool, come on in. What's the fastest, most frictionless way to capture a user in that state who's brand new? it's got to be a chain that seamlessly lets you do it. Low fees, fast execution, looks nice, clean, easy to use apps, get you right in. Like, that's what you got to look at if you want to scale your product. And like, that competition is becoming clearer by the month. Like, where are the users going? Where's the volume? Where's the actual apps being built in ecosystems? Like, what do you think when I say Solana? Meme coins? VC? What do we think? Like,
I think really beefy validators that the general public can't afford, so it's mostly centralized.
See, and like that's we're maxis, right? Or like not maxis, but like more OG. So we're like, okay, we look at that stuff. New users not going to really think about that stuff, so they might end up somewhere like Solana or somewhere like Base, and and be like, okay, cool. I want to look for the next cool thing. Like, let's look for something that attract. Hey, wow, this is a way I could switch from my normal VPN, which I use, and use crypto. Like, that's cool. I want to try it. So yeah, we're just thinking about all these aspects because we got to be agile. And Polygon's awesome. Like, it's not to say there's anything wrong with Polygon, but there's also nothing wrong if done right with being operating on several chains. And someone might say, I want to go to Polygon for these reasons. Cool. I'll use it for that. Or Base or Optimism or maybe one day Cosmos, yeah, it's totally possible. And as we grow, we could probably support more chains. We don't want to fragment our user bases, or liquidity as well is a big aspect, or fragment the network, because right now it's not cross-chain capable. So if we do support another chain, like Optimism or Base or whatever, and still support Polygon, those nodes can't communicate with each other. They're sort of in their own little network per chain. So we're also mindful of that too. So if we do, which we probably will, support another chain, it might be just that one for the foreseeable future. So we'll probably operate on two. ETH is always going to be there. We have deployed on ETH, so that's like our origin chain. But we also got to be realistic too. Like, what's the point of having so much stuff sitting on there doing nothing? Because we can't use ETH as a real utility layer chain for at least a couple of years, right? Because the fees are just outrageous. You can't operate microtransactions when the fees are like $3 a time. So that's not going to change anytime soon.
Well, here's the coolest part of it all. I think that this opens up the opportunity for new partnerships, especially with more and more chain agnostic swaps coming out.
Yeah,
this is, I think, a perfect opportunity. Because like I'm beta testing a product right now, which is just incredible. I'm actually making money when I bridge things to different networks. Like, I literally make money because it looks for arbitrage.
Oh wow!
Pools,
so you're arbing
like,
each trade. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. I love it.
Can you drop me a link if you're allowed? Because I'm keen to look at it.
And yes, I can drop you a link.
Throw the referral link in there, bro. I'll buy your run.
There's no referral. It's one of Michael's things, man. It's one of Michael's things.
Nice. I've used Rocket X a little bit, which is nice.
Well, it's Squid Grow, right?
I've heard of it.
Yeah. So it's Squid Grow. It's a silent swap. It's coming out soon. It's in beta right now. It's pretty incredible.
So this is based on Silent Protocol? Is that the Silent Protocol crew?
Yeah, so Silent Network.
Yeah, Silent Network, yeah. Nice.
And I'm actually wearing, not Silent Network, Secret Network. Shoot, I literally had to take the hat off because it says secret on the back and privacy in the front. It's the hat that I have on right now.
Yes, that's the one. Hopefully you got the mask hat. So you're going to start rocking those, man? Did they arrive?
I did not get a hat.
Oh, there's some extra packages on the way.
Hat. Okay.
They didn't lose that stuff. No, they split the order. I was like, why are you confusing all this? There was like 3 different shipments.
Got it. Yeah, that means wherever it's getting manufactured, probably coming directly from whoever put it together. Yeah, but I'll definitely check. I got to get to the mailbox this week, probably tomorrow. So I'll definitely be out there taking a look at it.
Yeah, man. But not Secret Network.
I need something to wear to consensus.
That's right. I've been watching Secret Network for some time. That's so cool to hear about it. I mean, yeah, all these things are part of the potential future, right? Because even saying, okay, we'll have this many chains, like 2 or 3 that we just actively support and build on, build the communities there. Like my hope would be that one of them, like to support a third mainstream one, would be a privacy one, like something like Secret or, Dusk or Darkfy. Like there's quite a few of them out now, Silent Protocol, like all these ones that allow, deeply integrated privacy for the users, not only in their accounts creation, but transactions, shielding, all that type of stuff. Yeah, like that. That's like, if you had that, it'd be so cool, because then the user could choose. Like maybe they don't want to bridge to that chain. Okay, well they could use the easy one. Here, Polygon, Base, Arbitrum, whatever. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man, talking about this stuff.
And honestly, ultimately, I think it's up to the users as well, because I have a public and a private side. Like you can find my wallets. You can go to Action Crypto and find my public wallet. Like, and I do that on purpose. Like I do trade. I go to centralized exchanges with that wallet where I am KYC'd. That is my public facing side of things. But I can tell you as well that you don't have to have it all that way. And I do. Meme coins on Base. That's a new meta, by the way. If you haven't heard it yet, lots and lots of money over there. I'm over here upset that I only made 3x on my last meme coin on Base right now. But that's where it's at. Like there's a ton of liquidity getting moved over there. So those trades, you better believe it. It's not on my main wallet. It's not on the wallet that people know. Like it's just wise for you to be careful and aware of your data and privacy when it comes to blockchain. Like, and yes, people don't come onto onto Web3 knowing all of these things. They're gonna KYC. They're gonna do all of these things. They're gonna do it wrong. And yes, it is wrong to a certain extent because it's not ideal. It's not the way that we should be forced to operate in this space. But it's how people come in. But if we can just help them see the light, and that's why I like the Base ideas, because I want people to understand that there is a better way to browse, there's a better way to trade, there's a better way to exist in this Web3 ecosystem without giving up your privacy, without giving up essentially your right to be who you are wherever you are. Like that to me is so important. And if we can just reach a little bit to these people that they still have that power, even if they are on a chain like Base, which is operated by Coinbase, it's still possible. It's still there's still that possibility there. And man, that evangelism part of Mask is honestly the most exciting one for me.
Yeah, we have a place to a big part to play to educate people, like you say, like people who are just stepping foot in the space, like how important to get back to the roots of privacy is, for all reasons, but mainly that now they're in crypto, right? Like, you do the wrong thing, it could actually damage you badly with the fact that you might have assets somewhere and you didn't realize you leaked your wallet, or you've tied your identity to this, or you've interacted with a bad contract, that this and that. Like, that's such a big educational thing. We can always do better. The market itself and the space needs to do better in those places. So, hey, if there's ways to get into a nice ecosystem, and you can try and stand quite front and center and say, hey, come explore, the Mask ecosystem. Now we're natively on this chain for you guys and girls to look at. Use our stuff. It's going to help you. Like it's all like, it's such a big aspect. It's kind of like an intangible part that you can't exactly value straight away until like all the people start really seeing it, say, wow, and they try it. And then you get all those network effects. So yeah, so all really exciting stuff. I wasn't sneaking around when I said like Q2 is going to be big. A lot of things have actually happened a little faster than we thought. So like we're really stoked. And I know we're in May, so it's second month of the quarter. But yeah, a lot of things are on track. And before we run out of time, one last thing too is I've hinted at, we're going to probably put a post out in the next probably 2 weeks. Just finishing touches on our ecosystem accelerator. We haven't really put a fancy name on that, even though that sounds fancy. So it might just be that. But anyway, it's got some initiatives in there that are not only going to reward people who've helped us and using Mask in the past, but also in the future. People making content, people helping accelerate our brand, ambassadors, all those types of things. There's going to be rewards that are granted out, given out, and applied for too. We're going to foster some dev activity as well. And there's a really cool little ingredient in there, which just kind of happened over the last, maybe 24 hours. Where we're really, all I'll say is we're trying to also create a bridge back from Web 3 into Web 2 and allow the MASK token to operate, more in the real world. And what I mean by that is like essentially MASK will then, in the future be able to purchase real world goods and services through partners. So that's pretty big. I'll let that simmer for everybody. It's going to be cool to explore that. But really, the more we can do to expand our token economy, you can read all about that on our docs.mask.ai site. It's got basically our history from the day we started the project to the day we decided to have a token, all the way through. Like, you can see what we're about. And that, if that element sits in that token economy, like that's massive. That's like the biggest thing, that you could do to help utility is create more use cases for your utility token. And that people want to hold it, people want to use it. That's massive. So yeah, all really, really crazily cool stuff coming. And I think my challenge now, to be fair, is scheduling what order the stuff comes out in. Like, some stuff I can plan ahead, some stuff is like when it's done. But there's quite a few things lined up. It's almost like we're trying to figure out the right the right order to fire these off and launch them. So it's pretty cool. It's a good problem to have. And again, lots of some cool potential things to tap into as well. So yeah, there's kind of everything from me today. A lot of information.
A lot of information. And I feel like we're like catching up too here. It's like, how is life and how is MASK? So yeah, we went through a lot of different stuff tonight. I appreciate you making the time, Corey. I know that you're either
man.
here or you're asking devs when.
Oh yeah, I've got that. What's that guy? That Cameo guy is like, can the devs do something? What's his name? That's got to make a comeback. I think when that comes back into the scene, we're really close to like the real top. When that becomes a thing, people are paying. What is it, Cameo Mike, or what was that guy's name?
Dude, I can't remember. Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, he was everywhere. He was like at the peak of meme season, where there was all the rugs, and that was it. You knew, like, when you saw that, you're like, time to exit. So I shouldn't jinx us and start posting that anywhere.
Oh, Hard Rock Nick.
That's it. With the well manicured, stuff going on.
The eyebrows. Yeah, that was the key one.
Yeah, the perfectly, lined, shaved, like facial hair. It was like I don't know how he did it. It was so crazy, but that was his thing. It was like that was his little real life avatar.
Yeah, unbelievable.
The gold chains.
Because honestly, you know how this works, right? You know what we want.
Okay. I need the price to go up. I can't take this anymore. Every day I'm checking the price and it's dipping. Every day I check the price, bad price. I can't take this anymore, man. I have overinvested by a lot. It is what it is, but I need the price to go up. Can devs do something?
Can devs do something?
Bad price. It's so crazy.
Oh, man. So awesome. Well,
man, you got a throwback.
Yeah, just a little bit. But hey, we're gonna keep at it with MASK. I appreciate everybody that turned out tonight, everybody that's listening in after the fact as well, because I know a lot of people have some weird time zones for the people that use MASK as well. So I know they'll listen back to this one. I'll probably get some clips out of it as well. But hey, Corey, thank you so much. And what's the website that people need to go to download MASK?
Yeah. Get on to maskbrowser.com and download the latest version. Like I said, we're pushing for the next one hopefully soon. So we'll definitely put out a big announcement. So if you don't get to it by then, you'll say, okay, cool, I'll download the newest one, like when the announcement comes out, which should be soon. So yeah, go on there and come into our channels like Discord, Telegram, like come and talk to us. Our team's active in there. We like to engage with everybody. Discord.gg/mask and Telegram is mask_.ai. And yeah, love to talk to all of you. If you want to catch up, ask about our project, try it out, jump in there and you can easily talk with us. So thanks again for your time too. I know it's early, not early, evening there, Action. So Thanks for spending the time.
Little after 8 p.m. Yeah, no, but this is awesome every time. And you know how we end, well, I mean, with two things, how we end the space and what I try to do as much as possible. We go through these things. We talk about what's happening in Mask, and it's honestly until we feel all right, right?
Yeah, that's it, man. And this, like you said, this is a bit of a catch up. We haven't done one in a month. So this is a good little recap and lots of stuff that's been mentioned today. There's still lots of stuff bubbling away under the surface. So yeah, I'm super excited as always, but even more so now with so much going on. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled, everybody, because the devs are doing stuff.
I love it. I love it. So y'all heard it first. Like Corey said, make sure y'all check out maskbrowser.com. Download it, even if you think it's stupid, because you're going to open it up and you go, this is amazing. I can't get enough of it. I use it exclusively for a lot of stuff that I do inside of Web3, just because I know it's safe, I know it's secure, and I know it's the best possible browser that I can use to do some of these things, especially with the new updates that are going to be coming out. Super exciting. And I meant it. So we are doing these spaces until we literally feel. Until